murder and death and vampires and demons and shit.
Okay.
And then there's green and red, and I hate them. But green
what
is
are
about,
they?
like, floral and, like, creatures. And
No,
just
see,
having
that's
a
me.
ton of creatures.
That's me.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And red is a fire deck, so you're throwing lightning bolts and, like, lava axes.
Okay.
And, like, summoning goblins and dragons and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, so you guys get together, you're playing Magic the Gathering. So in my school, our, like, nerd club was anime club.
We had one of those. No associations.
No association?
No associations.
Not even a shared member?
We weren't really a sanctioned club by the school.
See,
we weren't cool enough to be sanctioned by the school.
Nerd club, the unsanctioned
We
club.
just met in our science teacher's room while he graded papers, and he tolerated us.
So, I'm starting to get the picture of nerd club now. You guys were
just made it
avoiding bullies, is what was happening.
No.
Okay.
Some of us were.
Got it. Listen, I don't know. Did you guys have a GSA?
I don't know that we did. Our principal was a lesbian, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, our principal was a lesbian, and the Westboro Baptist Church came and protested our school.
What?
Yes.
Wait, okay. Tell me about that.
Yes.
Oh, that is such a blessing.
It was really fascinating to, like, have that experience. And it
right.
Because, like, I had come out in, like, 9th grade. Mm-hmm. Like, publicly was out.
I'm, like, trying to figure out what 9th grade is. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then this was, I think it was, like, my senior year. So, like, I had only been out for a couple of years and was in that, like, typical, like, new outly queer thing of, like, I'm alone. I'm the only one in my school who's queer. I'm going to die. Oh, that was...
Well, no, I can relate about being the only one. I immediately, upon coming out, was like, I'm going to be intolerable. Like, I'm loud, gay, angry, and present. Like, like that was my agenda. But I understand.
None of those. So I was just like, I'm gonna be alone forever. I'm gonna die forever. And I had this huge crush on one of my best friends. And, like,
of course,
as we do.
Can we say his name? No. Oh, we can't.
No.
Okay, got it.
He won't listen.
Okay. Thanks. I'm like, thanks so much. I'm like, maybe actually this would really appeal to Ethan. We don't know. I made that up.
I just made that name up. It wasn't even close. Anyway, so...
Tell me about
there was
Richard.
This big, like, hubbub about, like, they're coming to the school. And there was, like, a safety announcement of, like, don't engage with them, don't go near them. It was this whole build-up.
That would not have flown. I would have engaged.
I was like, let's go. So after school, because they were protesting, like, as school was letting out so more people would see them, I left the building to go find them. And my high school was very large. And I was like, let's see what the fuck is up. So I went from, like, where the buses were lined up, walked around the corner of the building, and they were on the other side of Huron.
Awesome.
2 people with their signs.
2?
They weren't allowed on school grounds.
Okay.
So they had to be across this really busy intersection, just standing there holding up their signs. It was really sad.
Oh, I love that.
It was so...
I would have gone in, I would have been like, oh my god, can I get a picture?
I had thought about it, but my bus was about to leave, so I couldn't.
Oh, I would have been like, Mom, you gotta pick me up, and also I have 2 new friends.
I had a flip phone at that point.
Right. Of course. That's amazing.
Oh, it was fascinating.
Did anything else come of that? Like,
no.
They didn't affect any change?
No, nothing.
It's a wonder why. I wonder every day why the Westboro Baptist Church isn't, like, more popular. Like, because it's like their marketing team is really... Do you remember... I'm sure the listeners will remember the video that came out of their vocal group from the Westboro Baptist Church. And it was all of the different voice parts singing. I'm pretty sure the phrase was, God hates fags. And so it was like the bass going like, God hates fags, God hates fags, God hates fags. And then like, God hates fags! And I remember seeing that as a young gay boy, and I was like, that's cool. And I'm like, actually, I'm into this.
The theater of their troupe is...
Exactly, like, there's something so deeply queer about being so loudly homophobic. Really? It's like, honestly, I have more in common with them now.
Like, I'm starting to come around. Like, the queerer I get, the more I'm like, they may be right.
Well, it's like the more I learn about gay people, the more I start to see their point of view.
Yeah.
I can't do this on the first episode of my podcast. I cannot get myself absolutely...
Anyway, we have an entirely queer audience. We hope you eat shit.
I know. and to all you gays out there, yeah, no, I can't do it. I...
Sit on a bar stool. Bye.
Okay. And we're back. We had another really close scare where I almost definitely deleted that whole recording again, in which case I would have immediately self-immolated here
just
in this
caught
couch.
Fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Not even self-immolated. I would have burst into flames starting at the toe, moving up.
All of the heat that is built up in your body from the embarrassment of the first segment would have just caught
100%. I just so you guys know, I mostly took a break so I could stop sweating. So that I could stop absolutely dripping sweat into Evelyn's couch. But we're here. We're back in the mix. So the other part of this podcast, the other sort of segment, is that I want to really check in with my guests and see what they are interested in, especially during quarantine. We're all kind of falling down Wikipedia rabbit holes, obsessing over television shows. I personally watched every single Dolly Parton movie in one sitting.
That's incredible.
Exactly. It's not a lot of movies, but it is a full 24-hour session.
Stunning.
And so all of us are obsessed with something right now. So I ask each of my guests to come on with a topic, something that they would like to talk about, something that they are super into right now. And I want to give them the floor to explore that with me. And so, Evelyn, what is your topic? I'm really excited to find this out.
Excited to talk about Spider-Man comic books.
Oh, God. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
So
I want to give you my understanding of Spider-Man.
Okay, I would. Yes.
So that we have some context of how to proceed with this conversation. First of all, he's objectively hot across the board.
Oh my God, yes.
Always. And I feel like he was built to be hot, written to be hot, drawn to be hot. Like, even when he is played by not hot people, e.g. Tobey Maguire,
hot.
like, that actor becomes hot. Like,
Yes.
Tobey Maguire automatically went from a 4 to an 8 just by being cast as Spider-Man.
Like that first scene where he gets his superpowers and he's shirtless in his room. Like,
yes.
The puberty moment, I was like, I'm sticky for that.
Exactly. So always kind of had like
Andrew
a conflict
Garfield?
around...
Is going to be bi, potentially. There's rumors that...
Wait, so they're bringing Andrew Garfield back?
Yeah, so I haven't watched any of the trailers because the movies are good, but I'm so tired of the reboots. But they're doing the Spider-Verse thing where... Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse? Basically,
no.
There's a bunch of different universes in the Marvel universe.
Right. Well, there's hot schlubby dad Spider-Man.
Yes.
There's female Spider-Man. I thought that was cool. I haven't watched it, but I do think it's very fun.
Excellent.
It's
an excellent movie.
I love a movie that has different animation styles.
Yes, and they use it so cleverly.
Right.
Like, the movie is genius.
Okay, I guess I'll watch it.
It's worth the watch.
Maybe we'll just watch it right after this.
I'm down with that.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Sorry you guys are going to miss out.
So Andrew Garfield's coming back there.
Yes, into the movies because they're going to do the Spider-Verse. The rumor is that they're doing Spider-Verse in the actual movie.
Like a live-action Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
bringing the current Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and potentially
they're all
others.
gonna fuck. Yeah.
So Andrew Garfield, the objectively hottest Spider-Man,
Yeah,
might
for
have
sure.
a boyfriend.
That's great.
I'm sweaty for that.
What if
it's very sad because he had Gwen's storyline, and that's the comic. One of the comics that I specifically want to.
Who is Andrew Garfield? Oh, it is Emma Stone.
It is Emma Stone.
I remember seeing that movie, and when she died, I was genuinely sad.
It is. So her death is something that I wanted to talk about specifically because it is such a.
Oh, I have chills right now.
Let's
because of the way that was filmed. Was unbelievable. Okay, readers, pause. Sorry, I keep saying readers. That is stolen from Las Culturistas. that is what they refer to their listeners as. I need to get out of that fashion. Listeners, stop. Go watch it's the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, right?
Yes. No, I think it's the second because it's got Electro in it.
You're right, yes.
Which Electro was a phenomenal villain.
The second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film, go and watch it because there are spoilers after this point.
Or go and read Amazing Spider-Man 1 something. The night Gwen Stacy died. You can go read that comic because that's the original in which the movie is based on.
But there will be spoilers from here on out.
I mean, the spoilers of Gwen Stacy dying are...
But we're talking about the details because I want to talk about that scene in the movie because it's beautifully done.
It's gorgeous. Let's talk about the comic book version, though.
Okay, you're literally clawing my eyes out. You have your hands around my throat. You're like, let's talk about the comics.
Swear to God. So, in the comics, the night Gwen Stacy dies comes at a really pivotal time in comic books. So the story of this is that Stan Lee, who was writing on the book, went to leave for an extended trip to Europe. And the writers at the time, I believe it was John Romita Sr. And Jerry Conway were...
So clear something up for me as far as
Let me go over, the basics of comic books.
Because I was going to say, because Stan Lee is considered this,
creator. This
creative genius mastermind of Marvel. But there's obviously a network of writers and artists.
So it works essentially as a showrunner. So Stan Lee, Steve Ditko wrote The Amazing Spider-Man in 1957. Spidey got his own book because he showed up in Amazing Fantasy 15, and then readers loved him so much and sent him so many letters, he got his own book. The story goes from there.
Beautiful.
So Stan Lee and Steve Ditko wrote together, I think it was 26 comics. Mm-hmm. And then from there, John Romita Sr. took over as the artist, and Stan Lee kept writing for another couple of books. And then a different artist would take over writing.
Got it.
So throughout the series, there have been 40, 50 different writers on the Amazing Spider-Man book.
Of course. And is there a general... Obviously, I know people go around messing with stories, changing things.
Yes.
I mean, and you have the potential to do that with superhero things, but is there sort of a general respect when you inherit a comic that you're this character needs to be this way?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Which, actually, this is perfect. So,
okay.
So at this time, this was a couple hundred issues into 150 issues or so into the Amazing Spider-Man run. And Stan Lee went to go to Europe, and Jerry Conway was like, "Can we kill Gwen?" And Stan Lee was in a rush to get out the door and just went, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is a real story. And so in the comics, it's set up as the Green Goblin story.
Right.
In which the Green Goblin, is a maniac.
Which, by the way, again, shout out to the movie, Dane DeHaan as the Goblin. Hot. Go again.
This is comic book Green Goblin. So,
still hot.
Sleeping cat and, a cat suit. And
I do remember this visual.
Dorky bitch.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
The Green Goblin grabs Gwen Stacy and brings her to the top of a bridge. Not quite what the movie was. It was a clock tower because symbolism of movies and whatever.
Right. And it again led to that beautiful scene.
Gorgeous. With the web reaching out to grab her.
Oh God, I'm literally...
And as a comic book fan, that is what fucks me up. Because in the movie, Gwen dies because her head hits the ground.
Right.
And he misses by inches.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's how it goes.
In the comics,
yeah.
Spidey goes to save her, and it's the tension of the web
that
grabbing her boot, snaps her neck.
Oh!
So her death is on Spidey, and that goes throughout the entirety of the comics.
Oh my God. That's really... I have...
Tragic.
Listeners, I have chills. I have chills.
Deeply emotional.
That is deeply emotional. The way it was set up in the movie even is emotional, where it's less on him.
Yes.
And it's a little bit more random chance, but you can still see how he is responsible.
Right.
And
this is directly his fault.
Oh, fuck.
And so, that this is issue 1, I forget the exact issue, but 100 something, and issue 500 whatever, this death still weighs on this character.
Right.
There will be moments where a writer will, someone's falling off a bridge and Spidey goes to save them, and Spidey's like, not again, and catches them in a different way. And so the character has been changed, and this comes up over and over.
That I feel is even a rare thing in the comic book universe, where it's I mean, obviously the thing is hero saves people typically, and there's variations on that, whatever. But it's for the hero to lose their love interest due to a failure of their power, is really huge.
This really was a defining moment of comic books as a genre, because comics are kind of divided into 3 eras: the golden era, which is Mickey Mouse cartoons,
right?
The silver era, which is classic John Romita Spider-Man, like Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Fantastic Four, the originals. The
and then
death of Gwen
blew up.
Stacy is the entering of the Bronze Age.
Okay.
This comic...
Are we currently in the Bronze Age?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Got it.
The Bronze Age being like the darker side of comic books, because this was the first time in a comic book that a character had lost someone.